Hey fight fans, what an unforgettable night it was on May 9th at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey for UFC 328. Two warriors stepped into the octagon with completely different stories, and one of them walked out with the middleweight belt in one of the most surprising results of the year. Before we dive into how the fight actually played out, let's talk about the two men who made this moment possible. Khamzat Chimaev came in as the reigning UFC Middleweight Champion with a perfect 15-0 record. The Chechen-born fighter who moved to Sweden had taken the MMA world by storm. Fans called him Boars, the Wolf, because of the way he hunted his opponents non-stop. His wrestling looked almost superhuman. He could take anyone down, control them for entire fights, and finish them with chokes or ground strikes. Khamzat smashed through top competition like Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman, Robert Whittaker, and then captured the title from Dricus du Plessis in dominant fashion. People saw him as the future of the sport, maybe even the pound-for-pound king. Moving up from welterweight, he still looked unstoppable, and most experts believed he would roll over anyone put in front of him. His popularity exploded because of his scary confidence, his early finishes, and that intense pressure style that made every fight feel like a hunt. On the other side stood Sean Strickland, the ultimate veteran known as Tarzan. Sean brought a record of 30 wins and 7 losses into this fight. He is not the flashiest fighter with highlight reel knockouts, but what he has cannot be taught. He owns one of the toughest chins in the division, incredible fight IQ, and the kind of cardio that lets him push a hard pace for all 5 rounds. Strickland shocked the entire world once before when he dethroned Israel Adesanya to become middleweight champion the first time. Even after losing the belt, he kept showing up against the best guys and never backed down from anyone. Fans love him and argue about him because he speaks his mind without filters. Whether you agree with him or not, you have to respect how he walks forward, throws punches, and refuses to quit no matter how tough the fight gets. A lot of people wrote him off against Chimaev, calling him the underdog who would finally get exposed by elite wrestling, but Strickland has made a career out of proving doubters wrong. The build-up to this fight was personal and intense. Weeks of heated trash talk made headlines. Chimaev mocked Strickland's past and called himself his daddy. Strickland fired right back with sharp words of his own. Things got so wild at the press conference that Chimaev kicked Strickland in the shin during the face-off, creating total chaos. By the time they stepped on the scales and then into the cage, the hatred felt real and the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. This matchup pitted raw wrestling power and early aggression against veterans' striking volume, durability, and unbreakable will. Everyone knew it would be a war, but nobody expected exactly how it would unfold. The bell rang for round 1 and Chimaev exploded forward like a man on a mission. Just seconds into the fight, he shot in and scored a powerful takedown. He slammed Strickland to the mat, climbed onto his back and locked in hooks. For nearly the whole round, Khamzat kept heavy pressure, threatening chokes and landing solid ground and pound. Strickland showed his toughness by defending and surviving, but he spent most of the round stuck on the bottom. The champion made his statement loud and clear. Most people scored that first round for Chimaev, and it looked like the fight might end early if the wrestling stayed that dominant. Round 2 told a different story. Strickland came out breathing a little heavier, but with fire in his eyes. He started circling and using his awkward, effective striking. His jab was snapping out clean, and his leg kicks began chopping away at Chimaev. When Khamzat shot in again, Strickland stuffed the takedown beautifully and even ended up on top for a moment. The crowd erupted. On the feet, Strickland's volume started to pile up, while Chimaev looked just a little slower, maybe feeling the effects of that big weight cut from welterweight to middleweight. By the end of the round, the momentum had clearly shifted. Many scorecards had it even at 1 round apiece. Coming into round 3, the fight had become a real battle. Strickland walked forward with confidence, using his Philly shell defense to slip punches and fire back straight shots. His jab stayed sharp, and he mixed in bodywork and low kicks that were clearly bothering Chimaev. Khamzat still landed some heavy single shots that would have dropped most fighters, but Strickland ate them, smiled, and kept pressing forward. His pace never slowed down. Chimaev's wrestling attempts were not as explosive anymore, and he started to look human for the first time in a long while. Strickland outworked him in the striking department that round, and took the lead on most people's cards. Round 4 was pure grit from both sides. Chimaev knew he needed to turn things around, so he pushed harder. He landed some big combinations that rocked Strickland briefly, and forced a tough clinch against the fence, where he landed knees and dirty boxing. For stretches, it looked like the old dominant Khamzat was back, but Strickland survived once again, separated and went back to piecing him up with clean punches in the final minute. Both men were tired, but still throwing with bad intentions. That round was extremely close, and many fans are still arguing about it today. Some gave it to Chimaev for the damage, others to Strickland for the higher output. Then came the championship 5th round with everything on the line. The entire arena was standing and screaming. Chimaev pushed forward, looking for one big takedown or knockout blow to end the night. Strickland refused to give an inch. They traded in the pocket in the final minutes, showing nothing but heart. Strickland's jab stayed on point, and his overall volume was higher in those last crucial moments. Chimaev's shots were still powerful, but visibly slower as the effects of the hard weight cut and 5 rounds of pressure showed. When the final bell sounded, both fighters raised their hands and then shared a respectful hug in the center of the octagon. After all the bad blood, that moment of sportsmanship felt special. The fighters stood in the middle, waiting for the decision. Bruce Buffer stepped up and read the scores. 47-48, 48-47, 48-47. Sean Strickland wins by split decision. The undefeated streak of Khamzat Chimaev was over at 15-0. Sean Strickland had done it again. He became the new 2-time UFC Middleweight Champion of the world. Looking back at the fight, several things stood out as the real reasons Strickland pulled off the victory. First, his cardio and pace were incredible. He threw more strikes overall and stayed busy even when he was tired. Chimaev started strong, but slowed noticeably later in the fight. Second, Strickland stuffed most of the takedowns after the first round and kept the fight where he wanted it, on the feet. Third, his striking volume and veteran IQ helped him win the close rounds. He stayed calm under pressure and capitalized when Chimaev gassed. Khamzat still proved he is an absolute beast with his early control and power, but moving up in weight full-time clearly brought new challenges around energy management. This result changes the middleweight division in a big way. Strickland as champion again brings excitement because fans connect with his personality and his willingness to fight anyone. Big money fights are waiting, including the possibility of an immediate rematch with Chimaev that would sell out arenas. For Khamzat, the first loss stings, but he is still young, still incredibly talented, and will almost certainly come back stronger with adjustments to his training and weight cutting. Nights like this remind every fan why we love mixed martial arts. It does not matter how big the favourite is or how perfect the record looks. On any given night, heart, experience and smart fighting can rewrite the story. Sean Strickland once again proved that being tough mentally and physically can overcome almost anything. From the darkest times in his life to standing on top of the mountain for the second time, his journey feels like a movie. Khamzat Chimaev showed he is human after all, but also showed why he will remain a major force in the sport for years to come. Both men earned massive respect from fans around the world that night. What a war it was in Newark. What a night for combat sports. If you are a fighter feeling counted out or someone chasing a dream that looks impossible, remember what happened at UFC 328. Never count out the guy who simply refuses to quit. The octagon never sleeps, and the next chapter is already calling. Thank you for watching and listening to this full breakdown. Drop your own scorecards and thoughts in the comments. Who do you want to see Strickland fight next? The era of chaos continues.